The WNBA thought a fine would shut her up. Instead, Sophie Cunningham dropped threes, and a truth bomb the league wasn't ready for. Just one day after Caitlin Clark's surprising absence stole the headlines, Sophie rewrote the script. She didn't post an apology. She didn't beg for forgiveness. She posted up and let her game do the talking. The viral TikTok, where she trolled refs as stupid, slow, and useless, lit up feeds nationwide. The league responded with another fine. Sophie? She responded by torching the court for 15 points and back-to-back clutch threes against the defending champs. With no Caitlin Clark, this wasn't just a win, it was a warning. And now fans are asking, did Sophie just expose the officiating problem everyone's been whispering about? Is Indiana finding its fire without their rookie superstar? Or was this the eruption of a storm that's been building all season long? Because what went down that night wasn't just basketball. It was personal, it was political, and it might have changed the narrative of the entire season. Sophie Cunningham had one nerve left, and the refs stomped all over it. The calls? Trash. The bias? Blatant. The respect? Non-existent. So Sophie did what stars do in the age of TikTok. She clapped back, with a smirk and a soundtrack. No press conference, no post-game rant, just one perfectly petty video lip-syncing to Sabrina Carpenter's Man-Child. No names needed. Everyone knew exactly who she was roasting. Stupid, slow, useless. That's what the lyrics said? That's what fans heard. And Twitter exploded. In less than a day, Sophie went from sharpshooter to social media sniper. 150,000 plus views. Thousands of comments. Fans flooding in with support. She said what we've all been thinking. She's real, she's fearless, she's us. But the WNBA? Yeah, they weren't feeling it. They hit her with another fine, trying to mute her message. Only it didn't work. Sophie didn't delete, didn't apologize, didn't blink. She took that smoke and lit up the court instead. And what came next wasn't just retaliation, it was domination. She turned outrage into offense, frustration into fire, and sarcasm into straight buckets. But that night wasn't just about Sophie proving a point. It was the start of something bigger. Bigger than fines, bigger than refs, bigger than even Caitlin Clark. The timing couldn't have been worse. The Indiana Fever had barely caught their breath from a tough loss to New York. And now, less than 24 hours later, they were staring down the defending champs, the Las Vegas Aces, stacked, rested, ruthless. Led by Aja Wilson, a three-time MVP with zero mercy in her DNA, and the Fever, still hurting, still doubted, and still missing number 22. Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation, the media magnet, the engine of Indiana, was out. The crowd felt it. The headlines ignored it, the vibe, grim. On paper, this looked like a massacre waiting to happen. A wounded squad, no star power, no momentum, just a team running on fumes. But that's not what walked into Gainbridge Fieldhouse that night. Indiana didn't come in looking for sympathy. They came in with smoke in their lungs and a score to settle. Every rotation snapped into place. Every possession dripped with urgency. The question echoing all week, can the Fever win without Caitlin, became the spark that lit the fire. And the first to fan the flames? Sophie Cunningham, the same player the league just tried to silence. She stepped on the court, not to prove the critics wrong, but to prove the whole damn system underestimated them all. What happened next wasn't just a rally, it was a rebellion. If the WNBA thought a fine would shut Sophie Cunningham up, they must have forgotten who they were dealing with. Because from the second that ball was in play, Sophie wasn't just hooping, she was hell-bent on sending a message. And that message? I'm not backing down. I'm leveling up. She scorched the Aces from deep, like the rim owed her interest. Step backs, catch and shoots, clutch daggers, 15 points. All fire. Every three she sank felt like a direct response to the league. She didn't talk trash. She let the net do the chirping. Each bucket said what words couldn't. You find me, I'll bury you in buckets. You silence me, I'll make the court scream. But it wasn't just her numbers that stood out. It was her swagger. She shot like she had nothing left to lose. Like every possession was payback. Like she dared the league to find her again and again, so she could keep making it rain. And the most dangerous part? That energy, it spread. What started as one woman's defiance became a wildfire. Her fire lit the fuse, and the Fever, they exploded. Hard screens, fast rotations, ruthless transition plays. This wasn't just Sophie's moment. It was Indiana's uprising. And just when it looked like the Aces would weather the storm, the Fever flipped the script and made history. Vegas came in expecting to bully Indiana, but Aaliyah Boston had other plans. She came out swinging, throwing shoulders, carving space, and finishing with the kind of soft touch that makes the impossible look routine. She wasn't intimidated by Aja Wilson, she was inviting the smoke. Then Sophie and Ari joined the symphony. Back-to-back threes that hit so clean, you'd think they practiced them in slow motion. Bang, bang. 4th of July in sneakers. And just when the Aces tried to regroup, Kelsey Mitchell hit turbo. She split the defense like scripture, slicing through the paint like Moses parting the Red Sea, then hit him with a smooth right-handed jelly that brought the crowd to its feet. It wasn't just highlight material. It was a momentum shift. Then came Colson, laser dime, Howard, perfect cut, bucket. Indiana wasn't just surviving the champs. They were straight up styling on them. Every play had purpose. Every pass had poetry. It wasn't just scoring, it was chemistry. It wasn't just hustle, it was a team playing with something to prove. By the end of the first quarter, 18-18, the scoreboard called it even, but the energy in that building said something different. Indiana wasn't hoping to hang on. They were daring Vegas to keep up. But just as the fever started cooking, that's when the refs decided to make themselves the main character. Just when the fever found their rhythm, clicking, flowing, pushing back, the game took a nasty turn. And it wasn't because of the players. It was the refs. What happened next didn't feel like officiating. It felt like sabotage. Aja Wilson came charging down the lane like a freight train, elbows flying, bulldozing her way to the bucket. No whistle, no foul, just buckets. But when Aaliyah Boston dared to fight back, Aja wrapped her up like she was stuffing a Thanksgiving turkey. Arms locked, body smothered, obvious foul for anyone with eyeballs. The call? Jump ball. Seriously. And it got worse. Seconds later, Kelsey Mitchell sliced through traffic, eyes locked on the rim. Whack. Arm contact clear as day. Again, nothing. Crickets. That's when head coach Stephanie White snapped. She'd had enough of the blindfolded officiating act. Enough of the double standards. She stormed the sideline, unleashing a verbal flamethrower. You could read her lips. And trust, it wasn't PG, but it was real. Technical foul? Sure. But here's the twist. That tech didn't break the fever spirit, it set it on fire. Coach's rage wasn't just anger, it was fuel. Suddenly, the fever transformed. Sophie Cunningham snatched a steal like she'd been waiting for it all game. AB hit Kelsey in the corner. Splash. Triple. The crowd roared. Next play? Boom. A. Howard. Back-to-back daggers from deep. The arena flipped on its head. They weren't just playing anymore. They were hunting. The disrespect lit a fire. The whistle tried to bury them. Instead, they rose, and they were swinging for a knockout. The aces were shook. The fever were flying. And then Kelsey Mitchell decided, this game's mine now. She didn't just attack the rim, she hunted it down like it owed her money. Contact? Didn't matter. Bumps? She welcomed them. That first bucket in the third, foul finish flex, wasn't just a highlight. It was a statement. The crowd erupted. Kelsey, unbothered. Ice in her veins, fire in her eyes. Then came the shot that changed the vibe completely. She pulled up from deep, stared down Jewel Lloyd like she was reading her soul, and bang, ripped a three straight through the heart of Vegas. No celebration, no chest thump, just that cold stare to the bench that screamed, I do this, stop me. And spoiler, they couldn't. She didn't rush, didn't force, she dictated. Every step she took bent the game to her will. The pace, hers. The energy, hers. The spotlight, fully earned. Kelsey wasn't just playing well, she was putting the defending champs on trial. And the verdict? Guilty of letting her cook. As the third quarter ticked towards zero, Kelsey blew by her defender, snaked to the rim, and served up a reverse layup so smooth it felt like a glitch in reality. The defenders froze. The crowd levitated. Fever lead, 62-56. That wasn't just a lead, it was a seizure of power. Kelsey was the engine. But Indiana's defense? Oh, that exclamation point was coming, and it was all caps. Offense lit the match. But the defense? It dropped the flamethrower. Lexi Hull wasn't just guarding Jackie Young. She erased her. No air, no lanes, no hope. Every dribble Jackie took looked like she was moving underwater, with Lexi glued to her hip like a shadow that bit back. Vegas kept trying and failing, because right behind her was Aaliyah Boston, and she was on a mission. She wasn't playing defense, she was waging war. Diving to the floor, bodying through screens, hands up, feet planted, heart pumping. The refs kept swallowing the whistle, so AB made him irrelevant. She didn't beg for calls, she took what was hers. And then, just when Vegas thought it couldn't get worse, Ari McDonald stepped in with the dagger. Crowd on edge, clock bleeding out. She sized up her defender, cool as you like, then boom, step back three with malicious intent. Splash, broke ankles, broke hearts, and broke the game wide open. The bench? Lost it. Fans? Unhinged. Vegas? Done. And Ari didn't flinch, didn't flex, just turned and jogged back like it was light work. This wasn't about surviving without Caitlin Clark. This wasn't, wow, what a gutsy win. This was a warning shot to the league. Indiana's got depth, got fire, and they're done playing nice. No Caitlin, no problem, no mercy. The buzzer hit, and it didn't just end a game, it sent a message. 80-70, 10-point win against the reigning champs. And the headline? Caitlin Clark never stepped on the floor. Yeah, let that marinate. This wasn't a lucky bounce, wasn't a grinded-out miracle. Indiana took over and never let go. Kelsey Mitchell ran the show, 21 points. Precision cuts all night. Sophie Cunningham barely broke a sweat, 4 threes, 15 points. All business. Natasha Howard? Pure destruction, 18 and 13. Played like she wanted all the smoke. Aaliyah Boston? Silent killer. A quiet double-double that screamed dominance. But the real win wasn't in the stats. It was in the way they moved. With purpose, with unity, with zero fear. No Caitlin? No problem. They didn't flinch, they rose. And Vegas, they weren't just beaten, they were exposed. Oh, and this one? It wasn't just revenge, it was strategic. Indiana now holds the playoff tiebreaker. Same record as the Aces? Fever go through. That's not just a win, that's leverage. The celebration was loud, the energy unmatched. But beneath it all, a deeper buzz. One question, one echo. If the Fever can do this without Caitlin Clark, what's gonna happen when she comes back? One game, one statement. But here's the truth bomb. Beating the champs, that's hype. Repeating it, that's legacy. This league doesn't wait. Momentum doesn't last. One night, you're the story. The next, you're a footnote. And Stephanie White? She didn't dance around it. We don't think about whether Caitlin's playing or not anymore, she said. We know how to play with her, and we know how to play without her. That's not coach speak. That's culture being carved in real time. The Fever are evolving. Roles are snapping into place. Trust is rising. This isn't the Caitlin Clark show anymore. It's a squad, and they're playing like it. With her, without her. Doesn't matter. That's the kind of team nobody wants to see in October. But here's the twist. Consistency is the real killer. Because beating Vegas, that's massive. But stumble next week against a bottom-tier squad? Suddenly the buzz, gone. The noise, doubts, the momentum, wasted. That's the real test. Not the big stage, not the spotlight, but the quiet ones. The trap games, the should-win matchups that separate contenders from pretenders. And next week, they've got one of those. It may not scream primetime, but make no mistake, everything's on the line. The Indiana Fever just sent a message to the league, to the doubters, maybe even to themselves. This team, they're not just the Caitlin Clark show. They're a problem, with or without her. They didn't just beat the defending champs. They outworked them, outshot them, outwilled them. Sophie Cunningham, fined one night, flamethrower the net. Kelsey Mitchell, certified bucket, cold-blooded, unstoppable. And the rest of the squad, nothing but grit, grind, and game. But as loud as this win was, the real story is still being written. The playoffs are coming fast. The lights are getting brighter. And if Indiana wants to make real noise, there's no room for let up. So now we toss it to you. Was this a legit turning point for the Fever? Are they finally finding their identity without Caitlin Clark? Or was this just a one-night statement under the home lights? Drop your take in the comments. We're reading everything. And if you're here for the drama, the energy, the behind-the-scenes chaos that the mainstream skips over, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Because this was just chapter 1. More stories, more receipts, more W chaos coming fast. We'll see you in the next one. Don't blink.